Hi everyone, this is what we're going to be creating today. Want to find out how? Stick around. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Susan with Blue Vinyl Stickers, and today we are going to be doing the ever popular knockout design with the word mom and the writing in front of it. Now you can use any word you want, any text you want. Same thing for here. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you have a picture of a cat and you're going to put the cat's name across the front of it, or you're going to put another cat in the middle of it. It doesn't matter. A knockout design is done the same way. You need two different designs. You're putting them together to form one beautiful design. So before we get started, I just want to let you know, as usual, this is the Business Edition version 4.2, and if you would please go ahead and click the like and subscribe buttons. You know where to find them. I would much appreciate that. So today we are going to be using a few of the features on our software, and these features can be found on any version of the software, all the way from the free to the business edition. First of all, we're going to go ahead and clear our screen. I am going to be working without a grid right now, so to do that you want to go ahead and click on the page setup icon, which is right here. Looks like the little page turned up. Go ahead and click on that. Click on the grid, and it will show all the options with the grid. Now, if you click it, the grid will show up. Today we're going to do without the grid for the time being. We will be turning it back on here in a little bit, but right now it's easier to design without the grid showing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get the word mom onto the screen. So click on the text, click on your work surface, type in capital letters mom, M-O-M. And the software will put it on here. The software default, I believe, is Arial. But to check that, we want to go ahead and click on Mom. Click on one of the lines. Right now, a bug in the software is you have to actually click right on one of the lines of your design, and then it will highlight everything. So click on Mom. Come over here to your text style, or pull it down from one of the panels, and I believe there it is right there, text style, and it will pull up this this box, and we want to pull in a or make this a font that is large, like this one, so we can have something meaty behind our words to show up. The font that I've chosen is called Burbank Big Regular, and this can be found at DeFonts, and just Google it, and they've got lots and lots and lots of free fonts. So go ahead and click on that one, unzip it and install it. If you don't know how to do that, I do have a video on how to install fonts onto your software. So just go ahead and find that and give that a look. So it changed it into Mom. We're going to go ahead and take the box and we're going to drag it big so we can see it. Okay, and we're going to turn it purple because I like purple. And we're going to pull it to the top, right mouse click, and say duplicate and send it to the side. This one here is just a reference, so if anything happens, we still have our original design. It's off to the side. We will probably be deleting it later on. So now I need to put the David and Mary in the center. This is going to take a couple of little clicks with the text style box, and so let's get started on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click text, and I'm going to put David and Mary. Oops. David and Mary. So again, it defaults to here, but I want this font here, and everybody wants to know what this font is. This is called I Love Glitter, and I will show you exactly how I got this to like this, step by step on how to use that. So I'm going to highlight it, come over here to my text box again, and type in I Love Glitter. And this one will pop right up because it's the first one in the eyes that I have, so it will pop right up. So I Love Glitter, and then hit Enter. Whoops. I love glitter, hit enter, and there it is. Now don't do anything to this because we are going to be doing a few modifications before we weld, and I will explain exactly what welding is and why you need to do it. So hang on for that one. So I want to put these little swishes before David and after Mary. So that's easy enough to do. If you click on the sipes or glyphs, I don't know what you call this, but the center one, if you have I think it's designer and above, you will have access to this button here. If not, what you want to do with this one does come with some keyboard shortcuts, and if you download this font, I highly recommend that you do print out the grid or the guide that they have that shows exactly what keystrokes you need to do to get the features that I will be using. So right now, I am not going to hit the shift key, but I'm going to hit the lower bracket button. Come on. Hit the lower bracket button, and it puts in that swish. I'm going to come over here to this one, hit the other bracket, and it puts in the swish. That's kind of cool. So now, I'll move it back here so you can see it. I want to get rid of this and. So I am going to right mouse click and I am going to say ungroup. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Forget I said that. I'm going to highlight the and. And I'm going to come over here to the hearts. And I'm going to come over to the solid heart. I like the solid heart. We're going to, while this is highlighted, click here and it automatically changes it to this. Now I do have a space here and a space here. So we are going to hit the backspace and here, and I'm going to hit delete, and it puts them all together. Now you see it does have them still not welded, so don't do anything yet because I know this little dot right here is not going to cut nicely, so I need to get rid of that. So right now, I'm going to highlight everything, right mouse click, and say weld. Now watch what happens. Okay, you see all these little sections here? Make this bigger. Let me get David really big here so you can see it. And I'll explain to you what welding is. Okay, now if you were just going to print this out on a piece of paper, you could go ahead and make this black and it would print perfectly. It wouldn't have any of the lines or anything. It would just print perfectly. But if you're going to actually cut this design, you need to weld it together, because if you don't, your machine is going to cut each one of those intersections. So you're going to end up with that cutout at each one of those intersections. So you want to weld this together. So you're going to right mouse click on the design, find weld, and watch what happens to the design. It takes all those join marks, makes them all nice and smooth. It's kind of a cool feature. So let's make this a little bit smaller. So now what happens is whenever you do that, it makes parts that are not connected. Okay, but I know that this little dot is not going to cut nicely. Any small dot just doesn't cut nicely. It's just a given. Any font that doesn't have a nice big circle to it, it's just very difficult to get that little dot. So what I'm going to do is I want to, as you see here, I changed it to a heart. Okay, I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm going to highlight it, click the heart, and say, whoops, come on, highlight it, click the heart. Oops, see, it doesn't work that way. So what has happened is, don't keep trying to do that, because what has happened is that now this is welded, the text no longer recognizes it as a font. Okay, so if you click here and click here, it won't do anything. So what you need to do is come back over to your text, get a text, type in any letter. It doesn't matter what letter, just as long as you have a letter. You're going to highlight that letter, click on your heart. Come on. Click on the heart. There we go. Had to highlight it a little bit better. And pull it out. And there's your heart. And I'm going to stick it down here. Okay, so let me show you that again. Click on any letter, highlight it, double click on it, highlight it, then click here. You see, and it'll put anything you want here. Okay? But you have to highlight it first. Okay, now this heart is where I want it. Now, what I know about this font and about other fonts that are have small little gaps in them is like the dot. They will not cut correctly. Now this here is a compound path because whenever you weld, it does make it a compound path. So you want to highlight it, right mouse click on it, and say release the compound path. And what that does is it highlights, puts a box around everything that is now not joined. So I know that this little guy, this little guy, this one, this one, this one will not cut correctly. It's just a given. They just don't cut correctly. So now I'm going to highlight everything again. Okay, just highlight everything again. And everything that is not connected will turn into a little box. Right mouse click, make a compound path. Highlight all this garbage and hit delete and get rid of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and make him small again. And we are going to make these two match in size for what we want. Let me make this black so you can see it. Okay, I want this just a little bit smaller. Okay, that's a good size right there. So I'm going to highlight this and bring it down. Now, this is the fun part. This is the next couple steps is crucial on how you get this to look like this. So I am going to highlight it and I am going to find the offset select shape. Okay, it looks like a little star and you can find it from your menu bar up here, or of course you can find it over here, I believe. Well, you're going to have to look for it. There it is, right there. Okay, it'll pull up the offset. So it pulls up the offset window. And you can do it that way and then manually go in here and say offset, and it puts it on. Or if you just highlight this and click the offset button from up here, it automatically does it, and it just eliminates one step. So I prefer to click it from here. It's just what I've gotten used to. So, and now I know that outline is a little bit on the large side. So I want to click it down to about, sorry about that, phone calls. Okay, so I want to make this just enough that it stands out. So now that I have that offset, it has made these two pieces are not joined. So take it and grab it and pull it down. Okay, and as I said before, some small parts don't really cut nicely. So this here is not one piece because anything that is not connected with those lines is not going to be one piece. Right mouse click, release the compound path, because anytime you make an offset, it does make a compound path. And we are going to get rid of this and this and this and this. Highlight them, delete them, highlight this whole thing, right mouse click, and make a compound path. Okay. Now I'm going to color it into a lighter color so you can see it. Come up here and highlight these both. go over to your transform window, and I want to center them vertically, or excuse me, horizontally. So I want to make sure everything is right there in the center. Now, if I click on vertical, it's going to take this design and put it down to the bottom because it's going to want to put the centering on these long legs and not the centering of the middle here. So watch what happens. If I do that, takes it and puts it down. Now it is centered horizontally, so just click it and use your mouse key and pull it back up to where you think it would look the best. And that to me looks great. So what I'm going to do is get it all onto the work surface. It needs to be on the work surface. So make it a little bit smaller. Get it onto the work surface. And I shouldn't have done that. I want to put this onto here and highlight them all at the same time and now put them on the work surface. Because if I had done it the other way, this would have been a different size than this. So it didn't need to be lined up or anything. It just needed to be together and shrink them down the same size. So pull it out and highlight them both. Come over here to your modify panel and open it up. Both of these have to be a different color. And the David and Mary need to be on top of Mom. And we're going to say subtract. Okay, and this is what you're going to end up with. And this is exactly what you want to end up with. Now keep in mind, don't go moving parts around because they're not connected. So I'm going to highlight. And you see as we highlight, we pull in a little bit closer, that I've got a little bit of piece here that is not going to cut correctly. So before I do anything else, I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to delete it. Just delete it out of the design. Then I'm going to highlight everything, right mouse click and say group. Now it is all one. And when I take this and put it here, I'm going to take it, go to the transform. It's going to put it exactly where I wanted it horizontally, but vertically I need to take it and pull it up a little bit, and that looks like it's going to be perfect to me. I want to group it together, and there is your design. Now I want to take and get rid of the outlines. There you go. This is going to be your design. Now if you wanted to print this, go ahead and print it. It's ready to print. Do anything you want with it. If you want to print it, put on your registration marks and your paper. You want to go ahead and set it for current printer. Oops. See, it wasn't connected. Highlight it all, group it, make it the size you want, and then you can go ahead and print that. And it will print exactly on there. If you have a card or something that you're working on, pull up the card and all the dimensions of the card and go ahead and print this out. But we want to cut this in vinyl. Okay, so I'm back up a few here. And as you saw earlier, these are not connected again. Okay. So I want to take and grab this one, right mouse click and say group. You want to do that before you do this. Pull this to, like I said, where you want it before. Highlight them both. And unless you want to make this to be 9 inches long, you want to make this about whatever size you want. Say you want to make this 7 inches. Just pull it down to where it says 7 inches. Close enough. Separate these out. Put this one up here. And this one here. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, there are some days. What you need to do when you go to cut this is that you need to make sure that both of the pieces of vinyl that you are going to cut are going to be the same size, and it's very important. I'll show you why here in a minute. So basically, the vinyl here that we need to cut for both of these is going to be a minimum of 2 inches high, but it needs to be about 7 or 8 inches long for both of these pieces. So I'm going to take the black one and I'm going to put it up here, and I am going to center it at about 2 inches. See my 2-inch marks? These are set at 1 inch or 1.5-inch divisions. Let me set it down to 1. These are 1-inch squares. And wherever you place this on your mat, this is where is this going to cut. This is actually your virtual mat. So if you put a piece of vinyl that is 2 inches by 8 inches, this design will cut right here on that line, and that's what we want. So here's this one. We want to center it as close as we can to that. You can take and you can center it if you want. Just make sure that this is in the 2-inch here, the 2-inch markings, and it is kind of centered here. And you'll see why in a minute when I go and show you how to layer this. Okay, so here is the design all cut out, and as you can see, we've got David and Mary on here and Mom on the bottom, and we are going to layer David and Mary onto the mom. So what it's going to take is a couple of things to do this correctly. Naturally, you need your cutouts. You're going to need a piece of clear transfer tape that is just a little bit, let me turn it sideways so you can see it in the camera, just a little bit longer than the decal itself, and just a little bit wider. So this piece is probably about 3 by 9, and my piece is 2 by 8. And then you're going to need a piece of clear backing paper. Now I got this piece off of a piece of transfer tape that I had, and it comes with a clear backing. You just need a transfer paper. Don't use wax paper. Like I said, this is the backing off of a transfer tape, and you normally discard this, but it's great for this. You want to use the slick side. There is a slick side and a dull side. The vinyl will stick to the dull side. You want the slick side, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So we're going to take Mom, and we are going to tape her to my desktop. Just a couple little pieces, just enough to make it so it doesn't move around. So let's get her in the camera. We're going to take Mom and tape her down. And place the piece of backing paper, clear backing paper, over Mom. And take your transfer tape and go ahead and place it in the middle about. Go ahead and layer it down, get it on here real well, and peel it off your backing. So you have your one decal now on your transfer tape. This is where the fun part comes in. Now you made it a little bit longer so you can have something to tape to on the bottom. Move your clear so it just covers your backing paper, and just place it down. Okay, you notice it's not centered, but watch what happens. We're going to take the whole thing, and we are going to, now it is movable, it won't stick to anything. We are going to place it, hold up the tape because the tape is now exposed here. So you've got a little bit of sticky here, and it's here. So we have something to use as a hinge. And watch this. Go ahead and layer it exactly where you want it. Line it up perfectly. Take a second. Layer it down. Take this part that was exposed and stick it to your table. Pull up the clear portion. Remove the decal with the transfer. Get rid of the clear paper. Layer this back down. Squish it together, and now you have a finished layered decal, if I can get it up off the tabletop. Cut around the edges. Just get that excess transfer tape off of there. And now you have a finished layered decal. So when you go ahead and squish it on there, because you have that transfer tape, didn't get that on there. There you go. Pull it up. And now you have your finished layered decal to be placed anywhere. Okay, so there you have it. This is your finished design, and I hope that that was helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.